Tracy Matson. I'm a certified professional dog trainer and behavior consultant. Sorry, 6 o'clock like sprung up on me. So I gotta put my chapstick on. Um, so heads up, you guys that come every week know that it's always something at my house. I have a new foster, and he just came like an hour ago. So I'm in my living room with him on the couch by me instead of in the other room because he's a little bit too interested in the cat. So we are going to have to do some work with the cat. But I didn't want him whining and trying to get to the cat condo during our life. So I'm in the living room. Lighting is not as good. So I apologize, but we can still do the same thing. Um, so what I wanted to talk about, hi Facebook user, you have to tell me who you are because I just see Facebook user. Also, if this is your first time, please let me know your name and where you are from. Um, and then, yeah, so on my end, I just see Facebook user. So if you want me to enter you in the drawing, just put your name and then where you're from. So whenever I bring a new dog home, and this goes for people, I've seen quite a few posts about people bringing puppies into a home. Oh, hi, Melody. Um, people that bring either a new rescue home or a new puppy home with an already um, existing dog. So, one thing, and especially with hi, Renee. If you bring home especially a puppy with an older dog, I always like to make sure that the dog has a safe place to go. Um, so the nice thing about doing this in my living room is I'm not attached to all these cords, so I can actually show you. This is my large crate, and there's actually two dogs in there. They go in together because they like to anyway. And I just kind of closed the door to give my new foster some space, and I didn't want to like supervise all the dogs while I'm doing a live. Um, but when I have a puppy here or a foster, whatever, I have an 11-year-old. So if she goes in the crate, that kind of means I need a break. So a lot of times, if puppy tries to follow her in there, I will close the crate door so that Maddie can have a break and the puppies can't, um, follow her in. I also always supervise. So tonight, when I brought Ferdinand home, let's see if I can show you guys a picture. His head's kind of say hi. He's 11. Hey, Brian, I missed you guys last week. Um, he's 11. He's deaf. And my friend was fostering him. And then, and I will, so my friend was fostering him, took a job in South Carolina, and couldn't take him with. And so I said I would foster him. He gets really, really stressed in the kennel situation. Yes, he is huge. He's bigger than Maddie. My dog Maddie's 55 pounds, and I thought she was big. I mean, she's tiny compared to him. And he's really strong. We need to work on leash manners. He about pulled me over, which is the other reason why I'm in here, because when he pulls to get over to the cat condo, I have the cat locked up just for safety right now. But he's really, really strong. So when I brought him home, so anyway, he will bark and cry, and he's just really stressed out. So I said I would foster him. So what I did is when I brought him home, I did introductions with each of my dogs separately. So I know he's been living with in a home with 2 other dogs. Oh, good for you. I'm glad you got to go out. He lived in a home with 2 other dogs. My dogs are good with dogs, but they do like to, you know, kind of like I'll rush a dog and be like, "Oh, there's a dog," and they wanna sniff. And I didn't want him to be overwhelmed, and so I put 2 of my dogs outside. I did an introduction with just Jade, and then I let Maddie in. We did an introduction with Maddie. Then I let, Willie in and did an introduction with Willie. I have him dragging a leash. The reason for that, and yes, he does have a pink collar on, but that's what they sent him with. I'll get him his own, collar. Probably a harness, probably a freedom harness because I tried Maddie's on him, not even close, and hers is an extra large. So, yeah. Oh, you know what? I might have an extra large freedom harness in my car. I'm gonna check tomorrow. Um, so right now I'm supervising. I have him tethered to me just so he can leave the cat alone while I'm doing this. Um, I have Jade and Maddie in a crate. Willie is wandering around somewhere, and Renee, Willie's doing fabulous. Um, like I'm really lucky that all of my dogs are really good with other dogs. So hi Renee. The other thing too that you guys that know me might be interested in. Oh, let's see, Renee from Louisiana. Um, let's see. Okay, I'll get back up to some of your questions too. Um, and I just lost my train of thought. Oh yes. So second week of March, Jade and Willie are going to be going into an elementary school and let kids read to them. So we are um, super excited about that. Okay, I'm going to go back up. And if you guys have any questions about bringing a new dog home, introducing a foster or a new puppy or anything, put it in the chat. I'm happy to answer it. Basically, because I know my dog so well, and I also know the person that had Ferdinand before I did. I knew he was going to be fine, but I still did introductions. Since I was by myself, I had him on a leash. Um, and yeah, and then I will probably have him drag a leash for a while. He learned the doggy door in like 5 minutes, and he loves being like having a big fenced yard. Luckily, he's 11, so he can't jump the fence. He's too old, so that's a good thing. Um, so yeah, Willie's actually oh, he's asleep right here on the dog bed. So right now they're all chill. I just have to keep Ferdinand away from the cat for a while till he gets used to her. Um, but yes, I supervise. Environmental management. Tomorrow, when I have to leave, I'm going to put him in the big crate just because he does have some separation distress, and I don't want him to ruin anything. Plus, I don't want him to have access to even the cat condo because he's a big boy. And then Jade will probably go to work with me, and the other two will probably go outside. Or I might just leave them in so they can go in and out with the dog door, just so that he has some company. So yeah, that's pretty much how I do it. Okay. So Renee, I'm thinking about trying something new with my girl while on walks. Um, let's see, is this the same? Oh, since my girl is coming to me when I call her, should I try it outside? Yes, absolutely. And when I start to do it outside, I always do it on leash. So once we go outside, I will do a 6-foot leash And then I have some 15 and 20-foot leashes. And then I might have a dog drag a leash. Um, and my rule is kind of I only say at one time. So I'll say, Rover, come. And if they do it, great. I click and treat. And then the whole time they're coming, I use lots of praise, make it really fun. Um, if they don't come, I don't say it again, but I'll pick up the leash and start to reel them in and be like, oh, let's go. This is so fun. And I use my high dolphin voice, and I reel them in because every time you say your recall, you use your recall. And if your dog doesn't come to you and get rewarded, then they're actually getting rewarded for ignoring you because they're doing something else. So, yes, once your dog is coming to you every time in the house, then maybe go outside in the backyard or the front yard. Um, and then the other thing I like to do is I will give my dog some freedom on a 20 or 30-foot lead and let them like sniff and explore. And then I'll do a recall. Have them come back to me. I'll give them something super yummy like a piece of bacon and then tell them to go play or go sniff. So we'll do that a lot on walks as well. So yes, I would definitely try that. Hello, Nicole. Nicole, do you guys get snow in Oklahoma, or does it just get like really cold? We've had cold and snow. You guys, we have so much snow here. It is ridiculous. Hi, Gil. Oh, and you're welcome for the handout. Sorry, it took me a little bit to send it to you. Um, from Texas, Lonnie. Lonnie, if I remember right, you're from Canada, right? And actually, I can go back and look. Yep. See, once you come all the time, I will remember where you're from. So, ice more often than snow. Oh yeah, I'd rather have snow than ice. But it just like it never ends. It's like day after day after day. Um, and luckily, my brother and his wife flew in from Virginia. We did a surprise party for my mom's 80th birthday, and the day that I had to drive down for the party was like the only day in a span of 5 days that it did not snow. And I have like an hour drive through a mountain pass, so I was really glad. But yeah, yesterday, or no, this morning. It was this morning. My two morning clients canceled because we work outside and it was just like pounding snow. It was so cold. So yeah. One day it'll be 70 and the next day below zero and snowing. Yeah, I mean we had one sunny day. I think it was Sunday. And then it started to get overcast. And then Monday we got pounded again. Today snowed all morning. I think it's supposed to snow all week. Um, so yeah. So Gil, remind me, did you get a puppy that you picked up today? Oh, hi Renee. Renee, I actually put you down. So yeah, it does show up as Facebook user. But Brian's has his name. So um and for Brian and Renee, like if you guys want to be on the same phone or the same computer, just let me know that you're both there and I will put each of your names down. So don't feel like you have to use two different devices to get entered in. Just tell me you're both here and I'll enter you both in. Um okay, Lonnie, how do I get my puppy not to eat pot? Oh, first I thought, oh, is that a typo? This is the second time he has found it outside and eaten it because he is such a sniffer. Um, Okay, no, he just turned 1 today. He was with my parents while I was traveling for work. Oh, okay, that makes sense. So, pot can be really, really dangerous for dogs. And I've even done posts about, like, I don't care if you smoke pot, but please don't leave your buds or anything on the ground because it's terrible for dogs. And I don't know if your dog had a bad reaction, but when I worked at the vet clinic, I've seen 2 really, really bad reactions where dogs ate the or, like, licked the residue. And it was frightening. I have to say it was scary. And, yes, and it's heartbreaking too. It's heartbreaking. It's scary. We had a dog sedated, and then all of a sudden he was awake and jumped off the table, and the vet had to kind of, like, tackle him and hold him down while we sedated him again. Um, his eyes were just glazed over. He would be calm and then randomly, um, like, lash out aggressively. So even when his owner came to get him, we were worried about the owner driving home because the dog was going to be in the front seat of the truck with him, and he was just randomly showing aggression. It was like he was hallucinating and didn't know what was there. And so, yeah, it is heartbreaking. Um, other than, I'm wondering if you could do it kind of like we do snake aversion training. Um, so you'd have to get a hold of some pot if you know anybody that has any, and put it in like a safe, like we use little canisters, or you can use like a small mason jar with holes poked in it. And what you do is you kind of um, take your dog up to the jar, and as soon as your dog um, alerts on it, or you see him like turn his head or lift his nose, as soon as you can tell that your dog has caught the scent, and you always do this on a long line, then you use a really strong recall. So I don't use leave it. I use the word jetzt, which in German means now, or in English you could just say now, and you run the other way, treat and praise the heck out of your dog, because you want them to learn that if they get that scent. So a lot of people do snake aversion training with shock collars and stuff, and you really don't need to do that. And it's not good for the dog anyway. um, but just teaching them that when you smell that scent, you run the other way, and I will reward you with really, really good treats. So when I did that, I would use like chicken. I'm vegetarian, so my dogs don't get a lot of like table scrap meat. So when I'm training with a high value, I'll use something like bacon or chicken or gizzard or something like that, something that they don't always get. You could do hot dogs if you don't give your dogs hot dogs a lot, and then just start to put it in different places. So you could put it behind a tree, under a bush, so that you know where it is. Um, but then, and the canister that I use is, like this big. You can get them on Amazon. Um, but then kind of keep your dog on a leash. And once you start to get in that scent, let's see, I'm not an artist, but let me show you. So let's say you're here. This is backwards for me. So let's say you're here and this is the pot. So as your dog is um, scenting, they may go like back and forth. And then as they get closer to it, the funnel gets more narrow. But you'll be able to tell like right when your dog, um, if their ears go forward, if they like do something like that, or usually if you watch it well enough, you'll be able to tell. And right when your dog catches that whiff, that's when um, you use your like now run the other way, and teach your dog that right when they smell that they go the other way, and they're going to get something much better like chicken, hot dogs, things like that. Um, Lonnie, I will look. I don't know if I have a handout for that. I did some snake aversion classes last summer, and my friend was teaching it, and I took it with my dog, and I don't think we got any handouts on it, but I will look because if I have a handout on how to do that, I will email it to you. Um, if not, I would just try to do like what I said, but I would set it up so that um, you know where it is, but the dog doesn't, and then try to get it right that second that he starts to when he gets it. And yes, dogs can actually smell a mile away. They can. So I was in a conference one time, and our instructor said that even though she's in a building, she lived about a mile from where we were having the conference, and she says that her dog could probably smell her a mile away, even though her dog is there, she's here. But yes, they can smell that. Yes, Nicole, thank you. Ken Ramirez has some YouTube things for snake aversion. So what you would do is just do the exact same thing, but just substitute the pot. And I would just make sure that it's super safe so that your dog can smell it but can't get to it. Like with the snake, there was one time that we used one that had been, oh, what's it called when they take an animal and like stuff it? Taxidermy. So it was a taxidermy snake. So it was just kind of like so they could see it. Um, and then we had the scent. So yes, thank you, Nicole. I totally forgot about that. In fact, I hate to admit this, but I signed up for Ken Ramirez's snake aversion class, and um, I have not even watched it yet. I am so behind on all of the um, conferences that I've signed up for and haven't watched yet, that I see something like that and I'm like, oh yeah, I still have to watch that. So I'm hoping to teach it at some point, but I really need to get better at timing and things like that. So great question though. Yes, that is a really dangerous thing, and I imagine that if a dog got enough of it, I don't know if it's fatal, but it's definitely really scary. I remember when one of the guys brought his dog in and said, my dog's freaking out. I don't know what's wrong. And the vet said, look, I don't care if you do this, but I need to know what your dog got in order to help him. And so he said, well, yeah, I had a party and some people were smoking pot and they had left the ashtray out and the dog licked the residue off the bottom. So yes, if you are a pot smoker, I don't care, but don't leave it out for your dog. Oh, I'm glad I went back. Brian, finally did Peyton's nails, but recall still is not going good. Yeah, so with recall, I'll be honest, it's not great with my dog either. And it's just because when she is outside, she is so focused on smelling everything and like smelling the snow and who's been here to pee and things like that. So I really struggle with it as well. And it's just one of those things that you have to keep doing and keep doing and keep doing. Um, Surprisingly, Willy Wonka, who's 2, and I've had the least amount of time, has a better recall than my other 2 dogs that I've had for longer. So yes, it just depends on the dog. It depends on how distracted they get and what else is in the environment. So just make sure that you're always doing it on leash. And congratulations on doing the nails finally. I'm so proud of you. Um, but always do it on leash. Always make sure that you have something super high value and then release them after you give it to them. So in the dog's mind, you say, Peyton, come. If she doesn't, you reel her in, make it super exciting, give her that bacon, and then say, okay, go sniff. So to her, it's always fun and rewarding. So today, I actually had an owner tell her dog, like, come here. And she was trying to put the harness on. Well, the puppy doesn't like the harness. So she was running away, and the owner kept saying, come here, come here. And I said, don't say come, because you're going to do something the dog doesn't like, which is putting the harness on. So it's better just to go get him. And I also laid the harness down, did some treats around it, and kind of lured the dog so he would step right through the holes. And then all I had to do was attach it. So, yes, keep working on it. It'll come, but I think, in my opinion, recall and leave it are the 2 most important, but the 2 hardest ones to teach and get really, really good. Um, okay, Renee, how can I properly socialize my dog safely? So, Renee, you'll have to remind me, how old is your dog? So, if it's a puppy, I'll tell you how I socialize puppies. Once a dog is like 1 year old, so the optimal time to socialize is before 16 weeks. That's not always possible. My dogs are all rescues. I don't ever have a dog, my own, that is under 16 weeks. However, I do a lot of puppy board and train, so I do it with them. Once a dog is 1, you can't socialize them anymore. So if they are afraid of dogs or cats or people, then you have to do desensitization and counter conditioning. And so with a puppy, what I do is um, make that association that X, and X is another dog, a person, a child, a bike, a snowplow, anything that could be scary. X equals treats. So instead of being like, oh, it's a snowplow, I'm super scared of that, it's like, I love it when the snowplow comes by because I get hot dogs or I get chicken or whatever you want to use. So, and they don't have to, I also believe in allowing dogs to have total choice and control. So I tell clients, if you go to like Home Depot to socialize your dog, um, don't allow every single person that comes over and says, oh my gosh, your dog's so cute, can I pet him? Because that can be overwhelming for a puppy, having all these strangers come and basically maul them to death. So instead, I let the puppy decide. Does the puppy go over to them and initiate? If so, great. If the puppy is like hiding behind you and afraid, then don't make them, then just give the person some treats and say, could you just toss treats to my dog? He's kind of shy. You also always, always, always want to advocate for your dog. So don't be worried about offending somebody. Just just tell them, well, my dog's shy and in training, so could you just toss treats? So then the dog is getting that, oh, well, stranger equals treats, and I can move away and I don't have to go all the way up to him if I don't want to. So that kind of thing. You can also, we did this a lot during COVID. You can go sit in a parking lot, and when your dog sees another dog, treat. When they see a person, treat. So if you're trying to socialize your dogs to like men with hats, beards, hoodies, sunglasses, go to Home Depot. There are tons of men, construction people that are buying stuff, and it's a really good place to socialize. And there's usually always a dog or two in there. And so you can do the same thing where your dog just sees another dog and you treat. Okay, so they're making that association. Now, um, if somebody tosses treats and your dog's doing great, then you can ask them to hold one out in their hand. And if your dog goes over to get the treat, great. Um, but your dog has the choice. If your dog doesn't go get the treat, then they should continue to toss treats. Um, and then, like with dogs, yeah, I again, if the dog is hiding behind you, don't force them to go meet another dog. If the dog, if your dog is like wagging his tail and like, oh, there's a dog, I want to go say hi. Always ask the other person, like, is your dog friendly? Can my puppy say hi? Then you can let him go up and sniff. Now, most dogs, I wish I were in my, let's see, what do I have here that I can use? Oh, okay. So I have chapstick and essential oil. So if these are two dogs, they're going to go probably like right for the genitals to sniff, and they're going to turn. So you as a human want to turn with them so that the leashes don't get tangled. So however fast your dog is circling to sniff, you go just as fast. If the leashes get tangled, it's better to just drop the leash because sometimes if they get tangled, it can start a dog fight. Um, I would also like, um, it depends on the other dog and the body language. If the other dog is like super chill, doesn't mind a puppy jumping on them. But like my dogs are really good with dogs, but they don't love it when other dogs get right in their face or try to jump on their back or something like that. Um, so then I would kind of like distract and lead them away and then let them go back. So with socialization, the couple of things that are really important are always give your dog agency. So if your dog wants to back away, they can. They don't have to meet anybody or anything that they don't want to. But you could sit inside your house and when you hear the snowplow go by, drop treats for your dog so that in the dog's mind, the sound of the snowplow means treats. If you're out walking and you see a snowplow, I've actually had to do quite a few sessions with different dogs and snowplows this year because they're everywhere all the time because we have so much snow. So as soon as the dog sees the snowplow, distance is also really important. So if the dog sees the snowplow and immediately starts barking, he's too close. So then you want to do like, oh, let's go and turn and go the other way. So you want to start at a distance, whatever distance that you need to be at where your dog can just look at it and not react. That's where you start. So if the dog starts barking, we just say, let's go, and we turn and go the other way. If the dog can be calm, then they look at the snowplow, I click treat. And the reason I click is I'm marking the fact that the dog is just looking and not reacting. So the clicker can also help the dog learn to disengage. So I'm not doing it to get the dog's attention, but I am marking a behavior. I'm marking the dog's just like looking like, oh, there's a snowplow. I click, and then when the dog hears the click, it's like, oh, I heard the clicker. Where's my treat? So it teaches them to look away and look at you. So I do that. And you can do that. And that's kind of what you can do with the desensitization and counter conditioning. It's just changing the dog's emotional response to be from like, this is really scary to, oh, this isn't so bad. And I get treats when it's around. So does that make sense? That's kind of a really long answer, but um, let's see. Hi, Fiorella. I know it's so easy to get behind on, and I love learning. Like, I love doing continuing ed, and I don't even need continuing ed right now. I have all my hours, but I still like to do it. But yeah, I can't keep up with them all. Let's see. Let's see, Lonnie. The first time he didn't throw up, but Sunday he couldn't even keep water down. Wow. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. It's scary. It is scary stuff. Um, Renee, is there a type of muscle? Are you talking about muzzle? Oh, Lonnie, that's another thing you could do is if there's an area where a lot of people throw their whatever they call them, is a bud? Is it a bud? Um, anyway, if they throw them on the ground a lot and you don't want your dog to pick stuff up, you could always put a muzzle on them. That's what Renee is asking because her dog is always wanting to eat poop. Oh yeah, I just saw it down a little bit, muzzle. Yes, so the one that I like, and I will put it in the chat, is the Baskerville Ultra. And the reason I like that one, it does kind of look like the Hannibal Lecter one, but it allows the dog to eat, drink, pant, take treats, and it doesn't like close their mouth because that doesn't allow them to pant, take treats, stuff like that. So that's the one that I like. And there is a really good video by I I want to say at one time I filmed a muzzle desensitization video for Pupford. So you might look in their video section and see if it's there. Because I want to say that I did, but I can't remember because I've done a lot of videos for them. But there is a really good one on YouTube. I just put it in the chat. It's Domesticated Manners, and it's if you just type in muzzle desensitization, and then that's the one that I send to all my clients because I love it. And take a whole week to get your dog used to the muzzle so that they don't hate it. Because you don't want them shaking their head, pawing at it, things like that. You want it to be like I will do it to where my dogs will actually stick their nose in it because there's peanut butter in there. Let's see. I'm afraid that the black Baskerville muzzle won't work for poop scavenging. I mean, I've seen dogs have to work a little bit harder to pick stuff up off the ground, like treats. So if we toss a treat, they can get it, but they have to work harder. And in the meantime, you can do a leave it, redirect your dog away from it. I don't know of another muzzle that would work except for like the cloth ones that go around their nose. But then I don't like those because your dog can't pant, they can't drink water. And if another dog like came after your dog, he can't defend himself. He can't with any muzzle. But yeah, it's just more restricted, and they're good for being at the vet for a very short period of time while you have to do something. But I don't like to do that. Put one of those on them while they are on a walk because if it's really hot, they can't pant, they can't drink water, stuff like that. So, Renee, another thing you could do is just get on Amazon and type in basket muzzles and see if there's one that might look. I know there's some wire ones that are going to be a lot harder for your dog to get his tongue and mouth through to get the poop. So one of those might work better. But any kind of a basket muzzle would work. Okay, let me go back up and hey buddy, can you lay down? Oh, that's a good boy. He's like finally settling in. Look at that head on him. Holy cow, he's big. super anxious. Um, oh, she's 4 and a German Shepherd. Yeah, so at 4, you can't socialize. You have to do counter conditioning and desensitization, kind of like I just described, but probably there's a lot of things you have to take into consideration, like distance, intensity. Um, so if you have a dog that's reactive or doesn't like dogs, humans, stuff like that, it's probably best to work with a trainer or behavior consultant because it's kind of involved. Um, Nicole, sometimes if I really need moose, I squeak and run away. Oh, that's great. Yeah. Leave it is awesome. Wait is awesome, but comes a headache. Oh, I totally get it. My dogs are exactly the same way, and I'm a trainer. So, Kirsten, hello, Kirsten. I want to make sure I have everybody, and then I'll do a drawing. What do you guys want tonight? What do you want me to give away tonight? Um and again, if I say I'm going to give away a snuffle mat, if you already have a snuffle mat and you win, um just tell them like, "Oh, I already have a snuffle mat. Can I have this instead?" And I'm sure they're going to say yes, no problem. Julie. Hi, Julie. Let's see, Brian. Home Depot's going good. Awesome. That's great. Okay, let me add Julie. New York. Renee, I don't know if they have a video for scavenging. Are you talking about like just scavenging for food or treats? Um, I don't know if they do. I would imagine if you look on Instagram, on Pupford's Instagram, I'm pretty sure that they have a reel on scavenging. Scavenging. I can't say that word. Like snuffle mat or tossing treats in and doing go hunt. The reason I know that is the other trainer that works with me also does reels for Pupford. So I know that she would probably do something like that. If Pupford doesn't have anything, then you can go to our Instagram, which is 3littlepits.dog training. And I know we have videos on the go hunt, using a snuffle mat, things like that. So I know we have not a whole long video, but just a reel. But for scavenging, what I do is I will either use a snuffle mat or I will take food or treats and toss them outside in like the snow, the grass, the gravel, the dirt, and say go hunt. And so that's basically scavenging using their nose. Another good one is you can, and don't do this if you have multiple dogs that resource guard. So you have to do this if you just have like one dog or if you're there and can supervise. And even then, I would set up different scavenger hunts in different rooms if you have more than one dog. But you can hide pieces of kibble like right behind a table leg or just barely under a chair or, just like strategically position them around so that the dog can come out and use their nose and search and hunt for treats. So that's another really good one that you can do at home. And those are the only two that I can think of off the top of my head. And if you're talking about just enrichment, Renee, if you want to email me, I do have an enrichment handout that I can send you. It's not a video or anything, but it just gives you, it describes the go hunt game. I think hide and seek is on there, but I'm not 100% sure. But there's like different enrichment things that you can do. So I'm happy to send that to you and anybody else that wants it. Um, oh, this was at a shopping mall on the grass in the parking lot. Holy cow. Yeah, it's scary. Um, they have one with a guard, but it's tan and I'm not sure what the name is. Yeah, I'm not sure either. I have some tan Baskerville, but it's just the same as the black ones. It's just that they're a different color. Um, let's see. Brian, what's 5,000? Is that how much money you're going to send me? I'll take it. Just kidding. Um, I can't remember what we had up here that you're saying 5,000. Okay. Gil, snuffle or treats is always great. Yes. Um, I missed something. What's the 5,000? I got talking and now I can't remember what that is. But you guys can send me $5,000 anytime you want. I will be happy to take it. Um, yes, snuffle mat. I usually try to feed my dogs at least one meal in a snuffle mat, and then the other meal they get in a bowl. Just because I put like plaque remover stuff in their food, and I put salmon oil in their food. So it's easier to do that in a bowl, and it can make the snuffle mat like really gross. So, um, oh, Renee, I have heard of Leerburg. Yes. Oh, for the drawing. Duh. Okay, I'm with you now. I'm a little slow. I have to tell you, last night I only slept 2 hours. I had insomnia. I don't know why. And so my brain's probably not working because literally I've worked all day and had 2 hours of sleep last night. Yes, I am with you now. And I had a really long weekend. Um, yeah, I wish I could give away $5,000. I really do, but I can't. But if we're talking about, why don't we give away a snuffle mat? And then if you already have one, just let them know that you want something else. And I'm sure they'll give it to you. Um, okay, so I will go back, Julie, and answer your question. And then I will do a drawing. But I wanted to answer the towel wrapped with kibble. Yeah, so you can take a small towel or washcloth and like sprinkle treats all the way across it and then roll it and then kind of fold it over and then tuck it in with each other. Um, oh, hi, Shireen. Let me hurry and add you. So then you can fold it over and then give it to the dog. And yeah, that's more like a puzzle toy or a treat dispensing toy. But yes, it gets them using their brain. Um, and they have to figure out how to get that out. Um, Kentucky, right, Shireen? So yes, that's another really good one. Wrap it up in a towel, and then they have to pull it out, unravel it, things like that. So that works. That works great. Renee, I wonder if Pupford will make more interactive snuffle mats. I'm not sure. I can always put a bug in their ear. They always love to have feedback. So, okay, I'm going to answer Julie's question really quick and then I will do a drawing. Okay, Julie, we're starting to have problems with Ellie not letting us know when she has to go out to potty at night. Is there a way to teach her to let us know when she has to go potty? When she's in my room with us and the door is closed, Dakota will tell us when they have to go out, but our door is open. She'll find a piece of clothing that is on the floor or a towel and pee on it. So there's a couple different things you can do. One, you can take water away at, like, depending on what time you go to bed. Let's just say you go to bed at 10. Take water away at 7 or 8, and then take your dog out for one more potty break before you go to bed. Um, and then the other thing that you could do is teach your dog to do a potty bell, like do potty bell training where you hang the bells and put your hand behind the bells, and then you can tell ask Ellie, like, do you need to go potty? Bring her over to the bells, say touch. So when she touches your hand that is behind the bells, it rings the bell, and then take her out to go potty. So then at night, if she needs to go out, she can ring the bell, and then hopefully you wake up to the bell and can take her out. The other thing you can do, the only other thing I can think of, is to crate her at night. If this is just happening at night, crating is always really good because most dogs don't potty where they sleep. So you can do that. So I would do one of those three things. Okay, let me get these all in my little bowl and do a drawing. And then if there's any other questions at the end, um, okay, while I'm putting these, I see somebody says, where are the questions coming from? That's what I was wondering. I don't understand. So this is just a live Q&A. So um, people are putting the questions in the chat, and then I answer the questions from the chat. Is that what you're asking? Oh, Shireen. So a couple of weeks ago, maybe last week, I did have to do 6:30 because I had a commitment and I didn't know if I was going to be home in time. So I did 6:30 one week, but for now, I think we're back to 6. So right now we are using Restream, which is a platform. So you should see a link on the regular Pupford page, the 30-day perfect pup, and then you can also get on it with um, YouTube. So the Pupford YouTube channel. So let's see. Yeah, some people use potty bells. Then if you don't get there fast enough, they start hitting the blinds. I don't know if so, Julie, in New York, you probably don't have fenced yard. I have a dog door, and I have to tell you, it's the greatest thing I ever done because I get to sleep. When I do sleep, my dogs will let themselves in and out, and I don't have to get up. But when I have puppies here, which is very common, I crate them at night because they will hold it. And then if they need to go out, they'll start to whine. I'll get up and let them out, and then I put them back in the crate. And that can also help with potty training. So it might be that you just have to go back and do some crate training again with Ellie, and then um, you know start to trust her a little bit more as she gets better at it. Okay, so I'm gonna draw, and tonight's winner is Renee. CHWASZ. Sorry, there's two Renees. Renee, I just call you Renee Chaz. So Renee Chaz, you are the winner tonight of a snuffle mat. I think you guys already have one. So if you do, just tell them you already have one and want something else. They can send you treats or whatever. So congratulations, Renee. Oh, am I not seeing somebody's questions? So the weird thing is that Renee's name isn't coming up. It just says Facebook user. And I'm trying to answer those questions too, but um yeah, if you're asking questions and I'm not seeing them, I'm not sure. I'm not sure why. All I know is we've had technical difficulties for, remember we did like for 3 weeks in a row, and they finally fixed this one, and this one is by far the best. Um, so I'm not sure. But um, if you guys are there in the same house, you can have Brian ask. But for the rest of you, I'm not sure. I'll ask Devin and just see why some people's questions aren't showing up. If you're part of 30 Day Perfect Pup, I know that those usually always show up. So let's see. I know there was another question. My new pup won't play with toys. He wants to run around and jump and put his mouth on my wrists, but I can't get him to put any toys in his mouth. Huh. That's interesting. One thing you can do is, if a dog, like sometimes puppies want your hands, or because your fingers look fun, or if they're jumping up and putting hands, their mouth on the wrist, I will just stop and I'll say and then the fun stops, but then I will redirect to a toy. And sometimes you have to make the toy come along or come alive, like move it around, like get it, get it, get it, get it, make it really fun, like that. um that can work. But if your dog jumps up and tries to put mouth on any skin, I just stop. I'll turn my back. I won't engage. I don't say no. Sometimes I will interrupt. I'll say, hey, um, but the play stops. Nothing fun happens. And then once the dog, the other thing I do is what's called capturing. So when the dog has four on the floor and isn't jumping or chooses to sit, I click and treat. So I reward any behavior other than jumping and mouthing. So if the dog is standing, I'll click and treat. If the dog's sitting, I'll click and treat. So I reward anything other than jumping and mouthing. And I will do that first. And then I will get toys and just see. And some dogs aren't toy motivated, but usually, especially with a puppy, try a rope toy. Do I have a rope toy? I think mine's buried out in the snow. Oh, wait, here's one. So I like to use stuff like this, because it's got the thing on, and puppies can really sink their teeth into this. So like I'll just run it around, on the ground, and get the dogs like really interested in something like this, and then they can like really sink their teeth into it. Um, but basically, oh good boy. You guys look at him. He's finally settling down. He's sleeping. Now if I can just get him used to my cat, it'll be a winner. Um, so basically you want to reward for any behavior other than jumping, biting, and then like your hands and your wrists should never be um your hands should never be fun or interactive, but the toys are fun and interactive. So feel free to play tug with your puppy. Like you can play tug, let them win, like, oh, you got it, you're so strong. So that the toy should be more fun than grabbing onto your hands or your wrists. So I apologize. I don't know what's going on with the Facebook, where you say on Facebook we don't see anything. I'm not sure. Um, and Yeah, there are some that say, Brian, there's some that just say Facebook user, but I don't see comments or questions. Oh, Shireen, so that brings up a good point too. If your dog rings the bell and goes out and potties, um, great. You can reward for that. If your dog rings the bell and just wants to go out and come back in and get a treat, I don't treat for that. They have to actually do something. Now, what you can do is if your dog rings the bell, goes out, and comes back in, you can ask them to do like 4 things. Like, okay, you came back in, now you have to sit. Can you hand target? Can you down? Can you stay? And then reward so that they don't associate ringing the bell, running out with getting the treat, but doing like 4 things and then getting the treat. So, um, okay. Yeah. So, Brian, I'm glad you're there because you can tell Renee she won. So, Renee, you need to, or Brian, you can tell her hello@pupford.com. So, Brian, which site is Renee on? Let me see. Let me go back. And oh, welcome. Brand new to the group. Awesome. Come back next week. Shireen, I have to keep an eye on Cassie. She may be getting in trouble digging. Yeah. I mean, my dogs dig, but I have one little area where I allow them to dig, so they can get that digging out. But I also have lots of toys out in the yard, and I have a pool, not in the winter, but it's buried right now. You can't even see it. On Facebook, it feels like we are not in the same room with everyone else. Huh. I don't, I don't know. I'm not very tech savvy. There's somebody else that does all this for me. Um, so if you're on the regular Facebook page of Pupford, I'm not sure. The 30-day perfect pup one should work. And it looks like there's also a Pupford YouTube that you could try. Cassie is on to me when she knows I'm leaving now and literally will take both legs around me. Do you crater when you leave? Because you could take like a bully stick or some treats and toss them in a crate and put her in a crate, and then you leave. Or you can also desensitize dogs to departure cues. So, like, you go pick up your keys, walk around, put your keys down, don't leave. And I do this very nonchalantly so that it's not a big deal. Go like grab your bag, walk around, go to the door, touch the doorknob, and then turn around, put your bag down, don't leave. So you're basically desensitizing your dog to departure cues, and so then those don't mean that you're going to leave anymore. So you can do that, or you can take a handful of treats and toss them in another room, or like I said, in a crate or something, and let your dog go search in there and find them while you leave, so you can distract them to doing something else. Okay, so I will try to answer some of these for tomorrow. And if I didn't get to your question, come next week. I'm pretty sure next week it'll be at 6 o'clock Mountain Time. And we'll do a drawing again at like around 6:30-ish. Also, you can post your questions in the 30-Day Perfect Pup Facebook group, because I try to get on there every day and answer questions. So if I didn't answer your question tonight, feel free to post it in there. You can always email me, Tracy with an I @pupford.com, and I will do my best to get back to you. Usually it's a couple days before I can answer emails, but Yeah, you can do that as well. So thanks everybody for joining. Have a wonderful night. Stay warm, stay safe. We are getting dumped on with snow. So, and then I will see you guys next week.